Take Frontier Markets, for example. This Indian social enterprise seeks out innovative ways to bring high-quality, low-cost, renewable energy, clean water, and health and hygiene products to poor households. Frontier Markets focuses on innovations that will have the greatest impact on women and children living in rural and peri-urban areas. It is steadily making progress towards its vision of reaching 3 million households using a market-based model that puts high value on customer care and service reliability. In Vietnam, a for-profit company, Ecolink, provides a network of 800 ethnic minority farmers a marketing channel for their fair trade organic agricultural products, particularly tea. While it exports much of this to the European and North American markets, it is also developing a local market and aims to open 20 stores across Vietnam in the near term. Dhaka-based Waste Concern, meanwhile, collects organic waste from cities, recycles it into fertilizer, and generates revenues through carbon credits it earns by eliminating greenhouse gas emitted by rotting garbage. But Waste Concern's impacts don't stop there. Farmers report that this compost is more effective than environmentally unfriendly chemical fertilizers. Waste Concern saves cities and taxpayers the cost of waste collection. It helps improve the environment and the sanitary conditions of Bangladesh's capital. It provides jobs at its processing and recycling center. It contributes to the country's food security by helping farmers achieve higher yields. This remarkable model is being replicated in other cities in Bangladesh and elsewhere in South and Southeast Asia. There are, of course, many, many more examples of the ways that social enterprises are contributing to job creation, the provision of basic services, and improving our environment. And we heard about a number of those earlier this afternoon in a session right before this, and I'm sure we'll be hearing many more over the course of these coming days. But many social enterprises remain small-scale initiatives, and the sector remains undersized in most developing countries across the region. To truly recognize and realize the tremendous potential of social enterprises, we need to create the right regulatory and policy environments for them to grow. They need better access to financing to scale up their operations and increase their field of coverage. In recognition of the importance and value of social enterprises, ADB has taken some steps to help the sector grow. We already are advising governments on the basics of building and maintaining business-friendly environments through reliable rules, regulations, and policies that don't work against or disadvantage the private sector enterprise. Although aimed at supporting the development of the private sector, a conducive business climate can boost social enterprises as well. Finding funding to support social enterprises remains one of the sector's greatest challenges. Micro-entrepreneurs and small businesses, which can include social entrepreneurs, often lack access to banking and related services due to the high transaction costs associated with serving them. By supporting microfinance, ADB supports making capital available to social enterprises as well. For example, with support from Japan, ADB is assisting the government of Thailand in improving its policy, supervision, and regulatory environment so that low-income populations can access safe and affordable financial services. Inclusive finance is one area in which social enterprises are active. In fact, many microfinanciers are often considered to be social enterprises themselves, since they increasingly provide poor and near-poor households with access to a range of financial services, including credit, savings, insurance, and fund transfers. A better regulatory environment in Thailand can create opportunities to expand access to products such as these, again, to poor and near-poor households across the country. Similarly, ADB's large-scale private sector microfinance initiative, the Microfinance Risk Participation Program, partners with financial institutions that actively lend to microfinance institutions, or MFIs, and shares the default risks on underlying MFI loans. This risk-sharing arrangement, which is available to a range of international and local financial institutions in Asia, will boost loans to microfinance institutions, which will in turn result in scaled-up assistance to groups currently unable to access funds, such as poor households, women, and cash-strapped small enterprises. ADB is also helping create a $20 million loan facility in the People's Republic of China to help partner banks build their wholesale lending capacity to microcredit companies, or MCCs. MCCs are privately owned, non-deposit-taking microfinance institutions that lend to rural households and to entrepreneurs. Although it is the partner banks that will be borrowing directly from ADB, the funding will be on-lent to MCCs in rural and poorer parts of the country. We are also supporting social enterprises by collaborating with various partners, including Shujog and IIX Asia, to prepare social enterprise landscape reports and studies on impact investors and market intermediaries. The knowledge generated through this work is being made publicly available to inform, inspire, and catalyze social entrepreneurship and impact investing. We've also supported forums that bring social enterprises and impact investors together in Bangladesh, India, Thailand, and the Philippines. ADB is also currently looking at how we can recognize the development contributions made by social enterprises in our country partnership strategies, which are the roadmaps that we formulate with our developing member country partners to guide development priorities and ADB assistance in their countries. We are also exploring how to expand dialogue with governments on the regulation of capital markets and the financial sector to address social enterprise specifically, with a view to encouraging in policies that will support and sustain their growth. Finally, another action we intend to take is to begin referring to impact partners those social enterprises that are providing renewable energy to underserved communities in the region. As we heard earlier today, Impact Partners, operated by IIX, is a unique platform that connects impact investors with a select group of pre-screened Asian social enterprises seeking investment capital. But looking beyond the policy environment and individual enterprises, creating incentives for private investors and individuals to put their money on the line for socially or environmentally beneficial purposes is a crucial element of the sector's growth. And this was mentioned earlier by Alex. Much of the promise, we believe, on this front lies with the concept of social or development impact bonds, which can provide a vehicle to invest in the delivery of services that produce social or developmental results with the promise of near commercial returns. Our work on the legal and regulatory front can have returns to this area as well. Social impact bonds, as many of you will know, are currently being tested in Australia, Japan, the UK, and the US, and these pilots show that there's plenty of room to address the region's challenges through innovative market-based approaches. Ladies and gentlemen, a critical factor behind Asia's economic success is its ability to innovate and a willingness to do the hard work required to succeed. And again, this is a point that Alex made earlier. These are the same characteristics we see in the nascent social enterprise sector. I congratulate those of you who are contributing to shaping and replicating this model throughout the region. With your continued commitment to harnessing the power of the market for social and environmental objectives and the imagination and tenacity that forms the core of the world's most dynamic region, Asia can become, I really truly believe, the world's social enterprise incubator. And for its part, ADB will draw on experience and partnership to do whatever we can to facilitate, promote, and catalyze investment in the dynamic social enterprise space. Thank you very much.
Thank you, VP Groff. We really appreciate you taking the time, I know in your busy schedule, to come here. And we want to honor VP Groff with a small gift. Now, of course, everyone here is dying to know what's in this box. So if you don't mind, I'll share it. So this box has been, it's a recycled box. I think I'm more excited than anyone else, so I will share it. It's a recycled box made by a group of artisans in Thailand from my time of my first company, One Nest. And it's filled with actually seeds from all over Asia, from the different countries. So we would like you to be the Johnny Appleseed of impact investing. So the next country you're going to from here tomorrow morning is Myanmar. So make sure you spread some seeds of impact investing. So enjoy. Thank you. To the multilateral supporters, like Asian Development Bank, a number of stakeholders here in Singapore have been instrumental in our evolution. Earlier this morning, we heard Dr. Judith Rodin remark that all of us here are critical to helping shepherd Asia's evolution as a leader in impact investing community, appropriately held at one of the epicenters of this evolution, Singapore. Part of the reason that Singapore has become a center of impact investing is the backing of various government ministries and individuals. In particular, we have received support from the Ministry of Community Development, Youth and Sports and the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the Ministry of Finance, and the National University of Singapore. In terms of individual support, one of our most enthusiastic advocates has been Minster Vivian Balakrishnan. I still remember when a couple of years ago, the minister spent 4 precious hours. Now, 4 hours is a long time for a minister, trust me. He took 4 hours to learn about our business and then give his input in trying to help us build what we have built today. The efforts of individuals like Minister Balakrishnan will continue to be fundamental to the development of this space. Without further ado, I'm a great admirer of you, Minister Balakrishnan. I have the great pleasure I have to introduce you. Minister Balakrishnan.
Let me just check. Is this working? Yes? Okay, good. I have a prepared text, but just about 3 hours ago, I landed at Changi Airport after 30 hours to get back from Rio. So I'm worried if I just read the text, I might fall asleep. As you know, the Rio conference ended somewhat successfully. It's not easy to get about 200 countries to agree on a single document. And in the nature of these things, you can never get everyone to leave the place happy. Nevertheless, I think some progress has been made. The key point was that we all affirmed the need for human development. And I emphasize the word human, because at the end of the day, whether you talk about the environment, the economy, or social aspects, it's got to be about people. And people's lives have to be improved. The good thing, therefore, was that we reaffirmed a triad of pillars. The pillars being economic development, social equity, and environmental protection and conservation. That's the good news. Now let me give you what the problems were in the discussions and arguments which went on throughout to be improved.